I'm gluten-free Gigi. I understand how difficult it can be to enjoy the foods you love on a special diet. That's why I'm making these videos. Come join me in the kitchen. You will love this reNEWal recipe I have for you. Sizzlin reNEWal stir fry. We're using one of our staple recipes, our homemade stock that we made last week. And if you didn't make yours, go to glutenfreegigi.com and check out that post. Let's get started. We're making a sauce, then we'll saute our veggies. So first, to get started, I want to take my 2-quart saucepan, and I'm going to turn this on about medium heat to start with. And I have some toasted sesame oil here. You can use toasted or untoasted, either one. I need 2 teaspoons for our sauce, but I want to start with 1. We'll add 1 at the beginning, and then we'll need to add 1 at the very end. You need to add some garlic powder, about a ½ teaspoon here. If you want to use fresh garlic, go ahead and use that as well. Got a ¼ teaspoon of red pepper flakes. I'm going to add a teaspoon of grated fresh ginger. You can come and have a look and see how finely grated that ginger is there. So you want to get that really small because you know how pungent ginger can be. And we want to give this just a little stir. Mix these spices with the oil and let them begin to cook. And remember, if you use fresh garlic, not garlic powder, you want to be really careful to continue to stir that. And ginger cooks quickly as well. Now, if you were here, you would already smell the sesame oil, and you know that it's time now to add our other ingredients. So I have a ¼ cup of coconut aminos here, but you can use soy sauce if you don't have a soy allergy. But for those of us that do not tolerate soy, this is what we're using, and it's much lower sodium. It's very, very good for you. Made from coconut, and it has a soy sauce-like flavor. I'm going to have 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar. It's a very mild vinegar, and I do not recommend substituting anything else for that because it is extremely mild and not like a traditional white vinegar, and it is made purely from rice. And to sweeten this up a little bit and calm some of the more pungent flavors, we're going to put a tablespoon of pure maple syrup. If you want to use honey or agave or another liquid sweetener of your choice, that's fine. It'll work just as well. And finally, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of dry ground mustard. And that is just mustard seed that has been ground. It is very, very pungent once it's added to a liquid. It doesn't really have any sort of odor when it's in the container like that, but it really brightens up the dish. So give this a stir. Make sure everything's smooth. Then we want to add in our staple recipe, which is our homemade stock. Now, I've got a couple cups here. I'm adding 1½ cups. And mine is chicken stock. And if you want to make this a dish with no meat added in, then you go right ahead and use your homemade vegetable stock. I'm reserving this because later we're going to use it to saute our veggies instead of oil and save some fat calories here in the new year. Now, let's turn our heat up. I want to bring this to a boil, and then we're going to add in tapioca flour that has been mixed with water. I've got 2 tablespoons of tapioca flour, and I have 2 tablespoons of cold water, and I've whisked this together. I don't know if you can see how this sort of adheres to the bottom of the dish, but it does, so make sure you whisk it right before you add it in. I've whisked mine already. I've had it sitting here a few minutes, but we'll whisk again right as we add it. We need to pour it in and whisk at the same time. So when this comes to a full boil, we'll pour that in. Come have a look. This is what we're going for. I've got our sauce bubbling away, and it's coming to a full boil. So what you want to do, remember, go in again and give this little slurry of tapioca flour and water. Quick little stir. And you're going to pour and whisk at the same time. And get your whisk going. Drizzle, drizzle, drizzle. There we go. You can already feel this starting to get thick. And you can see it now, right? Look at that. Alright, heat goes off really quickly. And then we'll just take this right off the heat. Bring it back here. And our final touch is our 2nd teaspoon of sesame oil. And I know you're wondering why, and I'm going to tell you. The 1st teaspoon, I wanted to saute the aromatics in and to get those cooking, and I like the sesame flavor. It really enhances this dish. But the 2nd teaspoon, I didn't want it to cook away. I really want it to hang around for flavor, so we don't have to use so much oil. Most stir fries would put a 1/4 cup of oil in this sauce. We're not doing that. It's for reNEWal. We're healthy. We're lowering the fat just a little bit here in the new year. So that's the reason. You get all the flavor and about half the fat. This is gorgeous. Look at that. Now it's really hot. I want to cover this up. Reserve that. We're going to pour that in our veggies later. But come on over here. Get this heat going again. And you know, for stir fry, you need a really, really warm pan. So we're going to let this pan heat up. We're going to get a couple of tablespoons of our homemade stock instead of oil, because we've already used all the oil. We're done with that. So we're going to heat the stock up, and when this is hot and sizzling, you come back and I'll show you what we do next. Come have a look at what I was doing when you were away. I got the stock in the pan, and see how it's all nice and sizzly. I just took a carrot slice and put it in here just to see what happened when it did. See how it's jumping around? It's ready to go. So let's go ahead and get some veggies in here. I've got a cup of everything. So 1 cup of carrot slices. I've sliced these pretty thin and on the diagonal, and they're sliced on the diagonal because I think that looks pretty. And you want your food to look pretty. So you hear the sizzle. Now I've got a cup of cauliflower florets. I've made these tiny, little bite size. Keep them about the same size. A little uniformity goes a long way when you're cooking your stir fry. Now look, where did all the broth go? You see now why I have a half cup on reserve? It dries up pretty quickly, and it's very different from cooking with oil, but you can achieve the same fantastic results without all that oil, which is what we're up to. So take a little more broth and just drizzle some in, and we'll do that throughout as we're letting our veggies cook. Cook these for about 2 minutes. Come back and let's add something green. We're adding a little more stock as we go here, and these look perfect. See how we're getting a little brown going on in the pan? Perfection. Now it's time for the green. I've got a cup of sugar snap peas, and yes, put them in whole. We need to cook these for about a minute. Look at that beautiful color. So healthy. Let's saute these. We'll add a couple more ingredients, and we're ready to serve. Okay, let's add last 2 veggies, and you notice I've added these in a certain ordering. I bet you know why. Just in case you don't, let me tell you. I added the ones that take the longest time to cook, carrots and cauliflower. They're more dense, less water-filled, less juicy, if you will. They went in first because they need all this time to cook, and you can see how beautiful. Let me grab a carrot for you. You can see how beautiful and pliable these carrots are. And you want these al dente. You do not want these to be soggy. We're doing stir fry, right? So those cook first. Then we added in our snap peas that don't take quite as long. And then very last, I've got my celery and my red pepper strips going in, because those are juicier veggies and they only take a minute. And they're releasing some of their liquid here. It looks really beautiful. Let these cook for 1 minute. Come back. We'll finish our dish. Okay, we are sizzling. Man, does this look good. You're going to love this. It's time to finish up our dish. And let me show you. This is my favorite ingredient in this whole stir fry, mung bean sprouts. If you haven't had these, they're just literally the sprouts from mung beans. I've got to keep stirring while I talk. But these are protein packed, and believe it or not, you can't get the benefit from all the protein until they're heated just a little bit. We're going to put them in literally 30 seconds, no longer. Stir quickly. These will stay crisp, and they add a certain sweetness that's really going to balance our sauce and make this dish just perfect. Now, heat's going off. I also want to put in some sesame seeds. Let's measure 2 tablespoons. How about that? You can put as many or as few as you like, and you don't have to put any. You could also use black sesame seeds there, which looks really pretty against the bean sprouts and the cauliflower. Now, how gorgeous is that? Let's make it better. Remember our sauce sitting back here? Look, still piping hot. Give that a little whisk. Oh my goodness, this looks great. So healthy, so low fat. Just pour that right over, and all you have to do is heat this through. Get a nice big piping hot bowl of your favorite gluten-free grain, rice or quinoa or millet or whatever you like, and serve this right on top of that, and you will have a fantastic Sizzlin reNEWal stir fry. I know you'll love it.